Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite team in the Bay Area. Today, we're going to cover the Sharks' 3-1 loss to the Blues. If Timo Meier is back in Bob Boughner's doghouse, and of course, look at some of the prospects that won awards in the CHL this year. All that and more on today's Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young. Kyle continues to be on vacation. He should be back next week. Thank you guys, of course, as always, for making us your first listen. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts, and of course, subscribe to us on YouTube. But the Sharks fall 3-1 to the Blues. They tack on an empty netter there in a game that's, again, the Sharks kind of played with the Blues, but it really felt like the Blues were just in there. Let's get our 2 points and get out of here. And they kind of controlled the pace of play for the majority of the game. Noah Gregor, let's start there with the positive. The Bordeleau, Gregor, Balcers line continues to look really good. Remember that the Blues are a very, very good team. They're a dark horse contender for the to win the Stanley Cup. And they're that Wild Blues first rounder. Sign me up. That's going to be 7 games. That's going to be a battle between those two teams. But I mean, the Blues are a very good team. They're a very deep team. They may not have the stars that your Colorados or your Panthers have, but those lines they're deep. They can score. They're physical, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, the Blues are kind of back to being what we saw the Blues be, but. The Balcers Bordeleau Gregor line, I thought they held up pretty well, especially against a really good Blues team. So 5-on-5, those guys play 10-42 together, and that was, you could see whenever Bob Boughner wanted to try to spark some offense, he went with the Balcers Bordeleau Gregor line. So 10-42 total time on ice at 5-on-5. Corsi 4, so they had 6 shot attempts. They gave up 7 shot attempts. Actual shots on goal were 2-5 there. And then expected goals, it was, scoring chances. This is, where they were creating offense. So they had 6 scoring chances compared to the Blues 5, and each had 1 high danger chance. And that line did also create a rush 4. So, mostly kind of, that line was definitely deployed strategically for offensive and neutral zone face-offs. They had 3 offensive zones and 5 neutral zone face-offs compared. So definitely tried to put that line in a position to succeed whenever he could. Bob tried to do that. And, I thought they definitely had a spark. This was probably Bordeleau's worst game. Not saying that he had a bad game, but definitely some of the little bit of rookie mistakes where he's trying to create or do a little bit too much, and leads to a turnover and stuff like that. But that's fine. This is game 3 for him, and he's 20. These are going to happen. And again, the Blues are very well coached, very talented, very deep team, and they're going to kind of pounce on these mistakes. So Bordeleau, this was kind of a big test for him. I thought he played well, but he definitely had a couple mistakes, and that's fine. Don't need to panic. The Bordeleau hype train is still going. This weekend will be good because they're going to play Chicago, who the Sharks saw Chicago a week ago, and that was a very entertaining game. And then they play Vegas on Sunday. So while Vegas is very star heavy, they're not as deep as they once were. So I think Bordeleau is going to have a chance to shine this weekend, in his first back-to-back. So again, don't worry about Bordeleau. The Blues are a very, very good team. So, some of the other guys that kind of stood out. We'll get into the splitting up of Hertl and Meier here in a little bit. But I mean, that line, the Dahlin, Hurdle, Meier line, 804 time on ice together. Shot attempts was 4-4. Scoring chances or shots for, so they actually had 4 shots on goal compared to 2. And that line again was kind of a little bit everywhere. So they had 4 offensive zone faceoffs, 2 neutral zone faceoffs, and 3 defensive zone faceoffs as well. But it was Timo and Hurdle haven't really, they've been on a little bit of a slump recently, and Timo's been kind of, I don't know, just not the same guy. The past couple games, he's taken some bad penalties and stuff like that. So, and you kind of wonder if he's in Bob Boughner's doghouse right now. I mean, he got sent down to the 4th line to go play with Shimoleski and Reedy. I don't know if it was to try to spark some offense. I think we're going to start to see some quotes coming in here soon about that. But it kind of felt like a bit of a message to Timo. About his play, and maybe he needs to, kind of pick it up and stop taking penalty. I mean, that penalty he took was really soft, but just kind of turnovers and all the little things that Bob Boughner likes to harp. So, yeah, definitely not his best game, and these guys haven't kind of been producing at the same level as the season's coming to an end here. And to be fair, they've been the ones carrying the load, and to ask them to continually do so as they have been doing all year, it's okay that these guys are taking a dip, especially that the season's basically over at this point. We're down to 5 games left here. So you know what, that's fine. So let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll get into some more reactions from tonight's game, and then we will look at some of the prospects who won awards, down at this old CHL level. So first, Built Bar, you guys know by now, Built Bar, the best tasting protein bar out there on the market. Each bar is covered in 100% chocolate. They're low calorie, high protein. You can take all your candy bars and throw them away because these are better, and you don't have to worry about the guilt when you eat a candy bar. The guilt of eating a candy bar when you have a Built Bar. They're 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. And if bars aren't your thing, that's when you need to check out their puffs, the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're chocolatey, they're marshmallow, and not just a protein bar, they're a treat. And again, each one covered in 100% real chocolate. So head to Built.com, use the promo code LOCKED15, get 15% off your order. Again, use the promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. So yeah, the Sharks, again, it just struggled to get any sort of offense going in the second period at 5-on-5. The Sharks had 3 shot attempts, not just shots on goal, shot attempts, with 2 shots on actual goal at 5-on-5. And the Blues, they didn't really have to do much at 5-on-5 either. Granted, they were on the power play 3 times, 2.5 times really. They started the power play on the beginning of the second period, then they were on the power play 2 more times that period. But they just possessed the puck and just held the puck, and the Sharks really couldn't do anything to get out of their own zone. And it just felt like the Sharks were just stuck in their own zone, and the Blues were basically playing cat and mouse with them. And there was not much that the Sharks could do there to get anything going offensively. It's hard to score goals when you spend the entire time defending in your own zone, and then that's what leads to the more penalties. Like I said, the Blues had 2.5 power plays in the second period alone because they were just playing offense the whole time. They said on the broadcast that the Blues didn't even have a hit because, again, you don't have to hit somebody when you have the puck. So, and it felt like the Blues, they kind of, I don't want to say they played down, but they just wanted to kind of come in, score a couple goals, get their 2 points, and then just kind of move on, especially against an inferior team that the Sharks are compared to the Blues right now. They've had definitely a bigger fish to fry. And it was, kind of interesting. So let's take a look at some of the minutes and how they were divvied up between the players. So offensively on the forwards, Bordeleau played 16:09, which is what we like to see. So he had 15:08 on of even strength. That was second behind one Rudolph Bolsers. But even at time on ice for the forwards, he was, right there. Couture or Hurdle had 18 minutes. But then, Couture was at 16:53, and then Bordeleau, Meier, et cetera, et cetera. So he was right there in the mix of it, which is good. That's how, you want to let him kind of get out there and get used to it, especially when these games don't have much meaning. Let him kind of build that rapport with Balsers and Gregor. And, and those guys looked really good together. So, but and then so the defense, Burns led the way with 24 minutes, which is kind of where you want him to be. Ferraro had 22, Magna 21:50, 4 minutes, so that was on the shorthanded. Malash had 21:48, 3:33 of that shorthanded. Vlasic 14:50, and then Merkley at 11:52. He got benched after the power play that looked really sloppy. So the first power play was it was Merkley, Hurdle, Bordeleau, Meier, and then Dahlen, and it just looked really sloppy. They couldn't really get anything going, and then he kind of got the kibosh after that, especially, again, when you're defending the whole time and you can't get really clean zone, line changes, and you're just in your own zone the whole time. I guess Bob didn't want to put him out there, but little disheartening to see Merkley get sat for a little bit. I would not be shocked if maybe they swap him out on Saturday's game, but I mean, we'll see. I don't know. Again, I've made my we've made our thoughts very clear, especially this time of season where, just let them play and let them kind of figure it out. So, but definitely wasn't Merkley's best game tonight. And you didn't really get that kind of splash play for Merkley tonight that you could at least point to. But I thought Burns actually looked really good tonight too. He, definitely had some kind of nice plays in the transition game. Nice assists. He kind of set the assist, and then Balsers had the really nice assist where to set up the Gregor on the flip pass. But, Burns, I thought, looked good tonight. Didn't really have any major faux pas I could think of defensively. Had some nice passes and kind of did Brent Burns things. But, the defense, Magna, Malash, they were fine, I guess. I don't know. They are what they are when it comes to the defenders. So, and then Reimer looked good as well. We know what James Reimer is, so we'll just kind of his stats from tonight. He faced where was his so he only faced one at 5-on-5, one high danger shot against, and then he had 4 mid danger shots, and he gave up a goal on one of those, and then at 5-on-5, and then 9 low danger shots. So the Sharks defense actually did a solid job of keeping the Blues from getting a ton of really, really high danger chances. And you can see that when you look at the heat map, where neither team had much action going on around the net. It was mostly kind of up by the point, and kind of the Sharks, it was kind of more around the face-off dot. But it was just a really low event hockey game. I don't know what that's just kind of not much else to say for it. So let's take one more break, and then of course we'll do our look at some of the award winners that from the prospects, and then give of course it's Friday, so the 3 fries of the week as usual. But first, BetOnline, your number one source for all your sports betting news and info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs. And as Major League Baseball continues to get underway, BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, from live betting, playoffs, esports, and more. So head to their websites today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts. So yeah, the some of the Sharks prospects were winners of some fun stuff. So the OHL, they do a coaches poll where they have some different categories, and they have a bunch of all the coaches and stuff like that they give out. They're kind of top 3 in different things. So each coach, the way it works, the coaches poll is tabulated with each team submits one nominee per category, and coaches then vote for the top 3 players for each category within the conference. And then they get players that get points based on all of that. So the maximum you can get is 45 points. Anyway, so let's see so we'll start in the OHL. Daniel Gushin kind of racked up some of these points here. So let's start. Where am I starting now? Interesting one. The best playmaker, Brandon Coe, was third in that. Shane Wright, who's going to be the number 1 pick, was ahead of him. Logan Morrison as well won that one. Most dangerous in the goal area, Daniel Gushin had 22 points there. The best skater, Brandon Coe, was third there. He had 19 points. That's nice to see, especially for how big Coe is. He's such a good skater already. So the best shot, Gushin was tied for third with 11 points there. Mason McTavish, you might have heard of, he won that one. Then the best stick handler, Daniel Gushin, won that as well. He had 26 points there. He was first on that. And then best body checker, Artem Gurev, we don't really talk too much about on the Peterburg Pete's, has 17 points there. So he was second. And I think that, and we have a couple more here for them. Best shootout shooter, Daniel Gushin won that over Shane Wright. He had 24 points there on the Eastern Conference. And then best shootout goalie, the GOAT, Ben Gaudreau, was second in the Western Conference, had 14 or tied for second with 14 points there. So, yeah, good to see some of these guys, that we've been waiting for, kind of, be rewarded for their hard work and kind of, it's nice to see that. So, I think Coe, Gushin, all those guys, except for Gaudreau will still be in. He'll be playing with the Sarnia Sting next year, and then Gurev will. I'm not sure on Gurev, but most of those guys are going to be heading over to the Barracuda next year. And then in the WHL, they had some of their winners as well for some of their award winners. So they kind of do things a little bit different. They had their they named their first team and second team kind of per division, and then kind of gave out some other winners. So we'll start with some of the kind of team ones in the BC division. The British Columbia, Gannon Larocque was named first team defenseman there, which is pretty awesome. Remember, Larocque's only 18. He doesn't even turn 19 until August. So he's got potentially 2 more years with on the Victoria Royals. So if he's already pulling first team All-Stars at this age, that's pretty awesome. Tristan Robbins was the second team All-Star for the East Division, which again is pretty awesome to see. I think with him, he missed some games, so that probably hurt him a little bit too. And then plus also his teammate led Kyle Krinovic. He was an amazing scorer, one of their best, the Saskatchewan Blades' best scores that they've had recently. So Gannon Larocque also won. What was he? He won the best defenseman in the BC division as well. And I'm trying to pull it up right now. So I think he had something else here too. So, it's just nice to see where these guys where they're kind of being rewarded, especially with Gannon LaRock, who's again, so Gannon LaRock was named. He was also the BC Division Defenseman of the Year. So again, the dude's 18 years old and he's already winning, awards and stuff like that. So for his hard work. So it's good to see that some of these guys are getting rewarded for their hard work and that they're going to be, hopefully, especially with LaRock, where the Sharks might have found something really special with him as he continues to progress and kind of get some more experience under him. So let's go ahead and finish this Friday off with the 3 fries of the week. Third fry, I'm going to split this between Gushin and LaRock, who both made their Barracuda debuts. So congrats to those guys. We've talked a lot this week about those two, just how, what they've done and stuff. And again, with LaRock, just how young he is, he's already making an impact there. And Gushin, you can see where he's already fits in with those guys. And his shot it's nasty, that shot. So the second fry of the week, Noah Gregor. Actually, I'm gonna give it to Gregor and Balsers. Those guys, you could just see having a offensive minded centerman that they're playing with really is kind of made their games that much better. The past couple games for Balsers, he's been on a bit of a tear. So his last 5 games, so he's got a goal. Basically, since Bordeleau got called up, he has had 2 goals and 2 assists in that time. And then Noah Gregor in the same time has been doing well. He's been playing well too, where he also has 2 goals and 2 assists in the same time. So just a little interesting when you put offensive minded players, what happens there. So number 1 star, Thomas Bordeleau, of course. Bordeleau, he's played really well since he's gotten here. He got his call up. Looks like he belongs, and I don't see how you can't start next season with him in the Barracuda. Unless the Sharks do something drastic this summer and are able to acquire another center at some point, another kind of star center, I don't know how you don't have Bordeleau on your opening night roster. So yeah, he's come in and looked really good. You can see the creativity, you can see how smart he is, and he's going to figure out what he can and can't get away with. But yeah, he looks like he belongs already. So you got 5 fries for the price of 3 tonight. So that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you guys for hanging in there with solo pods with me all week. Kyle will be back next week, so he's excited to talk about to get caught up on everything. So Monday we will have kind of our big takeaways from the weekend games. I'll be at Saturday's game, so maybe I'll tweet something out. We can do a meetup or something like that in the game if anybody actually wants to do that. I don't know. I might just be dumb and nobody will actually want to do that, but anyway, we'll figure something out. So you can of course find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Locked On Sharks. We're of course very interactive there. You can also listen to us wherever you get podcasts: Apple, Spotify, Anchor, Odyssey, wherever. YouTube, go and subscribe as we march towards 1,000 at 800. Gonna do a giveaway. I think we're 45 subscribers away. So make sure you guys subscribe. Please, it helps. As soon as that 1,000, it's a big one because then you start making money. And we put a lot of hard work in here. It'd be nice to get some money. So more money for it. So you can follow me on Twitter at myfryhole. Kyle is at Kyle Demetrius. Again, thank you guys for making us your first San Jose Sharks listen. Go check out the Locked On Fantasy Hockey podcast. Go check out the Locked On NHL Now podcast. Go check out any of the other amazing podcasts on the Locked On network, such as Locked On Dallas Mavericks. So, bye, friends.